Hey guys, Shyla Colt here with a discussion about The Deep by Nick Cutter. Now I came across this book when I was watching Getting Hygge with this channel. It was so intriguing that I decided to join her Goodreads group, which focuses on sort of horror and thriller books, and there's a new one every month. You can read it, get together, and discuss it. So I of course joined, and I will leave the link below in case you're interested in that. I am so very torn about this book. There were great things about it, and then there were things that I was almost frustrated about. A quick rundown: there is a almost plague that is sweeping over the nation. We don't know what causes it. We don't know how it's passed. Anyone can get it at any time, and the only clue that someone's getting it is that they start to lose their memory. And from that point, they get spots, which were described as the way a banana looks when it's bruised. So pretty hideous. And from that point, the human just decays. Now, the thing about the gets is that you just start to forget things. At first it's your car keys, or if you told somebody that story and you tell them again, and then it moves on to where you don't know what your name is or who anyone is or how to breathe, and then eventually you just literally forget to live, which is terrifying considering they don't know how this disease is passed. As this is happening, there is a scientist in a deep sea lab in the Mariana Trench. His name is Clayton, and he is basically a genius with no soul. He doesn't have a heart. He's very unemotional and he doesn't feel things. It makes him very serial killer-like almost, because he's fascinated by research. He has no emotions toward the animals that he's testing, and it just lends to this creepy vibe. And his brother Luke is the complete opposite. He has a very big heart. He's giving, he's a veterinarian, and he has had a rough time of life, but I don't think that it's altered him the way that his brother has been altered since they were children practically. So you have these two brothers, and Clayton demands that Luke be brought onto the ship because there's something that he wants to show them that he's discovered down there. So the government gets Luke, they fly him out. You get a sense that things are starting to get crazy. Gas stations are starting to run out of gas. People are just taking people's things because so many of them have the gets and don't even remember that they have a car or a boat. It's really, really eerie. He finally gets there and ends up having to go in this teeny tiny sort of submarine down to this station, which is really weird, and I don't even know if it can exist in real life. I would be curious to know that, because they've used some kind of special combination that flexes so the water pressure doesn't smash it, and it's all very precarious. You don't know if it's actual science or book science. So once he gets down there, they get a feeling that things aren't right. There has already been a death, and they're not sure how it happened. And as you get into it, you realize that they have found this substance that they call ambrosia, which is a clear substance which can latch onto a host and heal them, but they're not sure how it affects the mind, which is basically what they're down there studying. Is this healing their body, or is it altering their DNA and now controlling them, which is just creepy to think about. So this whole time they're on this boat, and it had a very Event Horizon type of feel to it. It had a lot of mystery, but it was incredibly gory. So if you don't like gore, this is not the book for you, because the gore level is like right here. Now, I like horror movies, so it didn't bother me, and I was very intrigued by how the three scientists had hid things from each other, and it starts to come together sort of like a puzzle, and then you start to see what they were hiding. And when you're reading it, you're not sure if it's the delusions of somebody that's gone insane, which kind of happens when you're down there in an enclosed space, sort of similar to a submarine, and you can't get sunlight and your circadian rhythms are off, or if this is actually happening and this sort of ambrosia is evil. I loved that part about it. What I did not like was how many answers we never got. There were too many questions that were left unanswered. The way that it ended was very up in the air. I wanted something more substantial after I had gone through this. There were sort of things that were alluded to, but you never knew for certain if that's what it was or it wasn't. So I liked Nick Cutter's writing style. I liked where he was going. I just felt he didn't quite get there. Like, the book needed to be a little bit longer, because when you got towards the end, it fell flat. And there were so many brilliant things in it that you didn't want that. You wanted that strong finish. So it ended up being like a 3 or 3.5, but this is like the first book in a long time that like had my heart racing, and I was turning the pages because I just needed to know what was next. and I really enjoyed that. So I'm really looking forward to continuing with this Goodreads group and reading more thriller and horror books because I really had forgotten how much I enjoyed them. If you read it and had a different opinion, I'd love to hear about it. If you kind of felt the same way I did, I'd like to hear about it. For those of you who were asking me about it, I do recommend you give it a read as long as you're okay with gore because I think it's worth it. Thanks again for joining me. If you like what's going on the page, make sure you click the bell and follow me so you will get updates every time that I add something new. I will talk to you next time, guys. Bye.